Hi, welcome to the Augmentation of Man. I am Renee Miller,
I'm kidding.
and today we're going to be talking about
The old paradigm is collapsing.
the old way is collapsing, and we're going to get into a little bit of what our spiritual guides have told us to what to expect, what is happening, what can we expect, where is this taking humanity? And
Yeah,
so join us all the way to the end because this is really an
we
important
have some
video.
questions at the end.
The old paradigm is collapsing, and our guides have talked about how the future lies in sequential movements. So this is our spiritual guides, mainly the ancients, but we have many, many spiritual guides and quite a few of the ancients, which are ancient mentors of the creator, not ancient humans. So, what does this mean? The future lies in sequential movements. It means that one event sets the stage for the next event. So, they're waiting to see how humanity reacts to each
So
event
how we react to the next event that is to happen before it leads to another event.
and how well we understand what has happened
Right. So do we understand what's going on, or does the event that we need?
to be repeated
That's right.
because we're told that things will repeat until we have
Right.
complete understanding.
That's correct. So everything is being coordinated from outside. The wild card in this whole event continuation is humanity.
Yes, humanity is very unpredictable. And so our guidance has told us that they can predict certain events, but they just can't predict what man is going to do.
Because man continually changes um, the parameters of the way they think. They don't stick with, I'm going to walk outside and look at that particular thing. They say, I'm not going to go there today.
Mhm.
I might not go there tomorrow.
So
So
man is very
very
arbitrary
arbitrary.
and we don't have understanding. So
Yeah.
basically, there's no truth that exists today. Well, I shouldn't say that because, and we'll get to this a little bit later, the truth is coming out.
Yeah.
Whether or not we acknowledge that truth is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's part of the event equation to
Mhm.
the truth. So
Right.
an explosion from the creational sphere has taken place.
And this is this like the God sphere,
That's right.
where creation of everything
Of the
occurs.
yeah, of all the universes. So it's traveling through the universes itself. And the vibrations that is created is headed for this galaxy, or for Earth is going to get part of this.
Mhm. So it's changing everything.
Yeah. So it releases a large numerical impulse of knowledge, far more advanced than the numerical value of all the stars. So we cannot understand that.
Right. And I want to just go into the
Okay.
definition. This part of this is being taken from this first book, A Study in Renaissance, the Augmentation of Man, A Study in Renaissance. This is chapter 12 that goes into a lot of the changes that are occurring. And most of it is at this level. Well, it's physical. A lot of these changes are physical, but a neurometrical impulse of knowledge taken from the glossary in the back is a large, measurable, progressive electrical wave of knowledge traveling over the nerve-like network of the universe, of which, or universes, of which The energy and numerical value are beyond our comprehension. So when we talk about numerical value, energy and vibration has a mathematical equivalent. And so does knowledge. Knowledge is a vibration, and that has a numerical equivalent.
Mhm.
So it's far beyond our understanding
Yeah,
as a human race.
it is an electrical impulse. So an energy far beyond human comprehension, infinite in numerical value, beyond our concepts as we are right now.
Mhm. And beyond all the stars, the numerical
Yeah.
value
So
greater than, more advanced than all the stars.
as we advance as a human race, if it stays around long enough, we'll begin to understand the value of this.
Mhm.
But until then, right now, we're basically in the dark.
Right. We're at a loss. It's nothing we can compare to. It's beyond our ability
Far
to
advanced.
even understand at this point in the way that the matter of our bodies works and behaves,
So-
which is being upgraded.
Yeah, so the question is, are these numerical values and numerical instructions for the new world that's coming?
Yeah. And so what we are being told is that it's collapsing the paradigm or the parameters of the old paradigm. So all that is being destroyed in
Yeah.
order to create something new.
Something new.
So that's everything. It's affecting everything in
Being
creation.
new, all that is a new event.
Mhm. But matter is being at the subatomic level, is being mathematically upgraded.
Yes, that's true.
So it may not be something that is grossly appreciable, meaning that we may not be able to visually see a change, but at the subatomic level, it is going to be at least somewhat different
Yeah, so
and upgraded.
yeah, a high. I'm gonna instead of using the word
Gnosis.
I'm gonna use knowledge. A high knowledge will come of intertwined mediocrity.
So this was actually a quote taken from
Yeah, they
a
use the word
recent,
gnosis, but
Yeah.
which means knowledge.
it was a quote from a recent meditation that you did in which you were channeling an entity who said a high gnosis of intertwined mediocrity. So I think that this guide was either talking about the human race or talking about matter in general, that there it is being expressed in a mediocre way.
Yeah,
It's not at a high level.
yeah,
And so then we were told this energy will cause a confluence of inept matter to prelate to a conjunction of high numerical value. So this is the way our guides speak. And it requires doing some homework. But when you do, you have such a depth of understanding
yeah, and
that is far beyond our simple
and
language.
our understanding comes way below
Mhm.
what it actually means. But it is a natural event, natural occurring within the universes. So it is a universal, they said it's a universal event. So it will have a mathematical effect on all matter. And there are matters now that exist that CERN has come across. They totally don't understand it.
Mhm.
They're trying to, but they don't understand it right now. It's far advanced. A vibrational shift upward and will result in a correction in our behavior eventually.
Mhm.
Not right away, eventually.
Right, because this subatomic matter has to be upgraded, and that reflects on our physical body. It will be upgraded. and it will operate at a higher neurochemical level, meaning that all the chemicals in our bodies that interact with the nerves will be acting somewhat differently. The nerves and the chemical change and the entirety of that upgrade will result in an ability for us to process a higher level of information and to be able to think conceptually. So to be able to connect the dots
So,
better and see more panoramically the bigger picture.
yeah, so they said this will happen soon, and soon may not. Your definition of soon, humans' definition of soon, is not the definition of the
Mhm.
universal soon. Soon can mean few years away. But a new understanding will develop and it's called in the direction, not in the spot, but in a direction for the new human race. That's like coming to a fork in the road. Now the fork is very long. The roads, both roads are very long, but you have to decide which direction you want to go. And it's only a direction.
Mhm. And we will soon see. So hang on in this video. Don't leave us because we're going to get to that because it does affect each one individually, each one of us. And so there's lots of things that are happening right now.
That's what I like because the truth is now being leaked, not projected out, but leaked out, which is a good thing as long as it keeps
It is.
leaking.
So the object is that they're trying to get this information out, the truth out, so that humanity sees what's really going on. We see all the corruption of our world, the deceit, the manipulation, the oppression, all of those things. And we have to be able to see it before we can change it.
Yeah.
And if we constantly live in a realm of only the positive, we're not looking at the entirety of what exists in our world. So we have to look at it from a neutral point of view and to realize that, yeah, this exists in our world. And that is the point at which we have an
Yeah.
ability to shift and to change it.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's leaking out in drips, not in floods, because in floods you would not understand it. So a little time, a little at a time
Mm-hmm.
will help you to understand what is really the truth. The truth must be revealed to correct our perception. The truth dripping out will eventually correct our perception of what is truth. Right now, it's hard to tell the truth from a lie.
Mm-hmm. It is really confusing right now. And part of that too is to get us to a point where we don't believe anything so that we can have these other entities come in and re-script what the
Yeah.
truth is.
Yeah.
But we do have truth coming out now, and it really is up to us to dig deeper and to be able to decipher between what is being propagated as an intentional misunderstanding or deceptive, uh, and what is truth.
Yeah. So humanity is being manipulated to a final outcome before it's put on this path.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there are beings here in the physical. Now, outside human
Mm-hmm.
beings in the physical that help making it happen.
And so I think there's a common misperception that people have that a higher being has to act a certain way, like a Gandhi or a guru, something of that level. And that's not always the case. There are entities here now in the physical, and they may not remember who they are at the soul level, but they are being guided internally.
They know who they are. They know they're being put here, not as humans, but to help the humans.
But they look human.
Yes, they look very human.
And they're pushing us. We're being pushed and pulled in all these different directions to mold us and to direct us in a certain direction. And they don't always behave the way that we would expect a higher being to behave.
Well, we classify them as a higher being, not knowing who they are, why they're here.
Right. We don't know. Humanity does not know who these other people, entities are, but they are placed here to manipulate humanity, to manipulate understanding,
Put them on the final path.
to put them on a final path. And it's in sequential movements. So when we're looking at one event or one sequence of many events, we're not tying it into the past event or the next event coming. And so we're looking at it with blinders on. And these beings can do things that maybe we think are just absurd, right?
Yeah, we're not aware of.
And yeah. So the bottom line here is when you are looking at somebody, don't judge who it is that you were looking at, because it may not be who you think it is.
That's true. So now a waning of the infrastructure. Structural integrity will cause supplemental demolition, destruction of the spirit, and self-annihilation. That is quoted from the mentor.
And this self-annihilation is probably the higher self.
Yeah. So this is a cleansing of all those souls who do not have the structural integrity to move on. And again, the quote from the mentors, a permanent dismembership is coming.
And so what they're telling us is that not everybody is going to make it to the next cycle. And that is, we have a group of people who are going to physically, in this human body, move on to the next cycle. This does not mean we're going into the fifth dimension yet. We have people who could move on to the next cycle because it's all about the learning. We're going to a higher level of learning. But some people will choose not to continue at this time. So they will exit out through physical death, and then they will reincarnate at a future date when they are ready. You have a whole nother group of people who will not be able to comprehend where we are going to as far as the learning that is going to be available in the next cycle. They absolutely just won't understand it. They're not there yet. We have another group of people who, at the soul level, the soul is corrupt in a variety of ways, and some of them lack a higher self.
It's like putting your boot into mud, and you can't remove your boot at all until you pull it out, leaving the boot there.
You've done that before.
That's what it's about. I mean, it's dismembering.
So it's a dismembership. Yeah. So there are actually humans here at this time who do not have a complete higher self or soul. Their soul has been corrupted some way. And I'm not talking about like necessarily like criminally. I'm talking about it's just not complete. It's
Yeah.
there's something not right about it.
It will not complete.
And it cannot be corrected.
Yeah. So,
Probably many reasons for that. But those souls or lack of those incomplete souls will be recycled. They have to be. There's no way for them to move forward.
Yeah, into something else.
Yeah.
Recycled into something else, not necessarily being
Reincarnated. No, not being, we're not talking about
no.
reincarnation. We're talking about energy. So energy does not dissipate, it just changes form, right? So when we talk about being recycled, the inept energy will be recycled into something new. So when these people die a physical death, this body that we occupy.
Well, the body is just temporary, it's the soul itself.
Yeah. When the physical body passes and that soul is released, it will not be contained within its capsule, so to speak, and that energy will be allowed to dissipate within the field. Then that energy eventually will be used for another higher purpose. It'll be upgraded.
Yeah. So for those that are not corrupt, there's no problem. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Those that are highly corrupt are going to lose everything.
And I would say, you know, if we were to paint a visual of that, I would think of like some of the people in our world that are so they have no feelings, they have no morals, no standards, no empathy for another person. This is probably that type of person who has an incomplete soul.
Yeah. So we have some questions now that we want to put out to you. We have to understand that not all souls are complete. We just got to discussing it. So some lack a higher self. We all have free will to do this. Okay. So the questions are, what have we chosen to do with it?
And one of the messages that we've gotten just this past week is this is arbitrary. Is it in our will to continue our spiritual growth and our spiritual evolution? It's arbitrary. We decide, and it is within, you know, our decision making. It's our free will. But in order to move on into this next cycle, we have to have that desire to want to evolve spiritually.
Yeah. Next question is, are we aligned to universal laws of conscious involvement?
And this is another one. So in the universe, there are universal laws that govern all of creation. And those laws were established by the Creator. So we have to follow those laws, and they will only allow us to move outside of those laws for a given amount of time, and things have to correct and they have to come back into alignment. Otherwise, the whole universe is affected by it. And you have to have laws in order to have order. Okay. This applies to our world, but it also applies to the universe. and God's creation.
Yeah, so are we working against it?
Are we working against it? Are we
Some-
intentionally fighting
Yeah.
universal laws, resisting universal laws? And the concepts behind the laws explain why the laws exist.
Yeah, so everything that we know is being upgraded.
Mhm.
That we know is being upgraded. Everything cannot be upgraded. Will be recycled at a higher
To a higher.
value, yeah, to a higher value, which we've already discussed. So with that, I'd like to.
You had a
That
vision.
vision, I saw
What does that look like?
holes in sand,
Mhm.
and the holes began to disintegrate. That means as there's holes in the sand, then as it disintegrates, the sand will fill the hole. The exteriors will collapse within and fill the hole back up
And make it solid
and
again.
make it solid again.
Huh.
So it's almost like these are the human race. We're gonna refill it back up, let it and start over. Redo the
Structurally make it
Yeah.
sound again.
Yes.
Okay. So everything has to be aligned to universal laws and the concepts behind the laws. And so that is also a part of the correction that's taking place,
Yeah.
is to realign humanity to universal laws, because we have not been following them.
Yeah, and
We haven't even been cognizant of them.
right, and then that there's the point there. We have not been cognizant of all the laws, even though science is trying to discover these laws. It's also going around some of the laws.
But there are laws and concepts for the laws that govern everything.
Yes. So we have a lot to learn, a long way to go. The road path that we take is going to be very long, very arduous for us to accept and learn. But with that, we will become stronger and more conscious of who we really are.
And we will become conscious of the whole reason for creation.
Where we fit in the universe.
And where we fit in the universe.
Yeah.
So creation was established, all of creation was established for evolving matter. And with that evolving matter, the evolving understanding to go with it. And so when humanity starts to realize that this is the purpose of life, then we will start to respect all life. And we will shift in our paradigm. But in the meantime, we're being pushed to a new paradigm.
Yeah. So
kicking and screaming.
So with that, I'd like to thank you for staying with us and trying to unfold some of this truth that we've been given.
Yes. Now, part of this lesson today, like I said, I took out of the 12th chapter in the Augmentation of Man, a Study in Renaissance. This is available on Amazon. And just to forewarn you, the language, like we have been giving you little snippets of that language today in this video. It's difficult, but we have a glossary at the end, and we also have included our own interpretation, which is clearly defined. So we have the the actual channeled messages verbatim. We have not changed it. And we have our interpretation to follow that is clearly defined, that that's our words. It's not mixed together and minced so that you cannot understand what was the original message because it's in there. This is the second book, The Acquiescence of Humanity. They're both on Amazon. Please give us a like if you got something out of this today. Leave a comment. We love to read your comments. We appreciate your comments. If you want to add things, we try to stick to the messages themselves and
Yeah.
how they relate to our world without adding our 2 cents worth, I guess.
Yeah. So thanks
Thank
for
you.
being with us.
Thank you for joining us. Peace be with you on your journey to enlightenment. Have a great week.